Okay, so January 10th, 2025. Woof. It's been a day, hasn't it?
Yeah, no kidding. It's one of those days where you just, can't even keep up with the news alerts and the social media feeds.
It's like, where do you even start?
Right.
We're going to try to break it down into, you know what, the most important stuff
Exactly.
for you today.
What really matters.
So I think we have to start with these just terrifying images. Out of Los Angeles, we've got 3 major wildfires burning there right now.
And the one in the Pacific Palisades is already over 19,000 acres.
19,000 acres, 0% containment.
Yeah, that's a pretty scary thought.
It is. I mean, it's essentially burning out of control.
Yeah, and with the Santa Ana ones and everything, it's, yeah, the situation's really volatile.
And over 10,000 homes and buildings have already been destroyed. It's hard to even fathom the scale of this.
The destruction, yeah.
Yeah, and the impact that's having on people's lives. Then you've got Sheriff Luna saying that. Basically, there's a curfew in effect, and if you are caught in these areas, you're subject to arrest. Why such a drastic measure?
It's got to be pretty serious, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's dangerous, but it's got to be more than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's incredibly dangerous to be in these fire zones, but I think they're also trying to prevent looting, of evacuated
That
properties.
makes sense.
Yeah. It really paints a picture of a city in crisis,
Yeah,
and it makes you think about the bigger picture. We always talk about climate change.
of course.
Is this part of it?
I mean, it's hard to deny that climate change is playing a role here, right? We're seeing these more frequent and intense wildfires all over the world. I think we need to have serious conversations about, prevention strategies, better forest management, and how to adapt to this new reality.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's shift gears a little bit to another just completely unprecedented event. Today, Trump's sentencing.
Oh, yeah.
He appeared remotely for his sentencing in that hush money case.
Right.
34 felony counts
Falsified business record.
related to, that payment to Stormy Daniels.
All of that. And the verdict.
Guilty.
Guilty on all counts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which marks the first time in U.S. history that a former president has been convicted of a crime.
I mean, that's history right there. It's hard to even process that.
It is. So he's facing a considerable amount of time. Of course, he's maintaining his innocence, calling it a political witch hunt. Right. But Justice Merchant said this has been a truly extraordinary case.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums it up.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really raises so many questions about accountability, the rule of law. What does this mean for American politics going forward, especially with, Trump's return to the White House just around the corner?
It's hard to even imagine what's going to happen next.
It's uncharted territory.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay. Speaking of uncharted territory, let's talk about what's happening hundreds of miles above Earth right now. 2 astronauts, Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, are essentially stranded on the International Space Station.
Stranded is. It's a strong word, but
Well, they're stuck.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
Their Boeing Starliner spacecraft was supposed to bring them home after a week-long mission, but it experienced engine problems and helium leaks,
Oh.
airing its return. So now they're facing an 8-month wait for a replacement.
8 months.
Yeah.
So their ride home essentially turned into a runaway train.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It had to come back without them.
Wow.
Can you imagine being stuck
Yeah.
in a confined space,
Yeah.
orbiting the planet, and your return date is suddenly pushed back by months?
Yeah. That's gotta mess with you.
How are they coping?
Well, from what we've seen, they seem to be in good spirits. They're staying busy with research, keeping everyone updated on their well-being. Wilmore even joked, "We are well fed."
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Williams said, "We have a lot to do while we're up here."
I mean, that's just what a testament to their resilience and their professionalism.
For sure.
But it does raise some interesting questions about the complexities
Yeah.
and the inherent risks of space travel.
I mean, we always think about, the launches and the landings, but what about everything in between?
Yeah.
It's a dangerous business.
It is.
We need to be prepared for anything.
Absolutely. Okay. So we've covered some pretty heavy topics so far. You ready for a few more?
Sure. Let's keep going.
Okay. Let's move on to Atlanta, where a Delta Airlines flight had to be evacuated on the runway due to an engine issue.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And this happened in the middle of a winter storm,
Really?
adding another layer of urgency to the situation. Thankfully, there were only minor injuries.
Well, that's good to hear. But it's a reminder that even with all the safety protocols in place, things can still go wrong.
Yeah. especially when you throw in unpredictable weather.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, and speaking of fires, there was a devastating blaze that ripped through an apartment building in the Bronx today.
Oh, no, I hadn't heard about that one.
Yeah. 7 people were injured,
Yeah.
including 5 firefighters who bravely battled the flames.
Wow, those guys are heroes.
Yeah.
It's scary to think about how quickly a fire can spread.
Yeah, this one was particularly concerning because of how quickly it spread. It started in the cock loft, which is the space between the ceiling and the roof,
Yeah.
and was fueled by strong winds.
Wow, so there was really nothing they could do to stop it.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder for everyone to have proper fire safety measures in place.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. On a completely different note, the retail giant Macy's announced the closure of 66 stores across the U.S.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's a trend we've been seeing for a while now. Brick-and-mortar stores are struggling to compete with the rise of online shopping.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what the future holds for retail.
Yeah, it's a fascinating issue, and one that we'll definitely be exploring further in future deep dives.
Looking forward to that one.
Okay, so some changes coming to the H-1B visa program, which is designed for skilled foreign workers.
Oh, great.
The U.S. government is rolling out new rules aimed at streamlining the process and addressing concerns about fraud.
Okay.
This is a controversial issue, of course. Proponents say it'll attract top talent. Critics worry about job displacement.
It's a tough one for sure.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how these changes play out. And speaking of long-running sagas, Trump's attempt to delay his sentencing was denied by the Supreme Court.
So no surprises there.
No. The court basically said his concerns could be addressed on appeal. So, looks like this case will continue to move forward.
This is just unprecedented.
Uncharted territory.
Absolutely.
And finally, we have to talk about Mark Zuckerberg's controversial decision to end Meta's third-party fact-checking program.
Oh, wow. I hadn't heard about that one either.
Yeah. They're replacing it with a community-driven system, which has sparked a lot of debate about the potential for misinformation to spread unchecked.
Yeah, that's a big concern.
It is.
I mean, who's going to decide what's true and what's not?
It's a bold move. Only time will tell how it will impact online platforms.
Yeah. It's a fascinating development in the ongoing conversation about content moderation and, the responsibility of these social media companies.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow. What a day.
I know. And we're not even done yet.
There's more.
There's more.
Oh, boy.
I need a drink.
I think we all do.
I mean, it really feels like we're at a crossroads. When you look at all these events together, it's like all these huge global challenges, climate change, you've got political instability, rapid technological advancements. They're all kind of intersecting in ways we've never seen before.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to take in. But, amidst all this chaos, there have also been some just incredible displays of resilience and compassion. We mentioned Wolfgang Puck providing meals to those firefighters in L.A., and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle donating supplies to wildfire victims.
Oh, that's great. It's so important to see that kind of kindness.
Yeah.
Especially in times like these.
It reminds us that even when things seem really bleak, there's still good in the world.
For sure.
And people are willing to step up and help each other. Okay, but before we get too warm and fuzzy, there's one more event from today that we have to talk about, and it's a real head-scratcher.
Oh, okay.
You ready for this?
I think so. But knowing this day, you never know what's coming next. Trump has proposed making Canada the 51st state.
Wait, what? Is this a joke?
I wish it were, but it seems like he's serious. He cited economic benefits and Canada's supposed lack of contribution to NATO as reasons.
This is just unbelievable. It sounds like something out of a satirical news article.
I know, right? It's hard to tell if it's a genuine proposal, a political tactic, or just another one of his attention-grabbing stunts.
Right.
But regardless of his intentions, it's definitely sparked a lot of conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it makes you wonder about the future of U.S.-Canada relations.
Of course.
And what the implications of such a merger would be.
Yeah.
Imagine the logistics alone. What would happen to Canada's sovereignty?
Right.
Its economy, its culture? And what about the U.S.? Could it really absorb another country? Especially one as large and diverse as Canada.
I mean, it's just mind-boggling.
It raises so many questions. And frankly, I think it deserves its own deep dive to really unpack all the complexities and potential consequences. But for now, I think it's safe to say that this proposal has thrown yet another curveball into an already eventful day.
You can say that again. So where do we even go from here? We've talked about wildfires, a historic sentencing, stranded astronauts, acts of kindness, and even a proposal to merge the U.S. and Canada. It's been a day. That's really tested our understanding of what's possible.
Yeah, it definitely feels like we're living through a period of rapid change and upheaval. The old rules don't seem to apply anymore, and the future feels more uncertain than ever.
Yeah, it can be unsettling, for sure, but it's also incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
We're in uncharted territory. And that means there's an opportunity to shape the future in ways we never thought possible.
It's a good point. It's a reminder that even though we might feel powerless at times, we all have a role to play in shaping the world we want to live in.
I love that perspective. It's not about being passive observers. It's about being active participants in creating a better future.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a few questions to ponder. What resonated with you most from today's events? What are you most concerned about? What gives you hope? And most importantly, what will you do to make a difference?
Those are great questions. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the constant stream of news. But it's important to remember that we all have agency. And even small actions can have a ripple effect.
Yeah, it's about finding those points of leverage where you can make a real impact. Whether it's supporting organizations working towards positive change, engaging in meaningful conversations, or simply being a source of hope and encouragement in your community.
We're all in this together, and we need to support each other as we navigate these turbulent times.
Absolutely. And remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we create together.
That's a great reminder. We have the power to shape the world we want to live in.
It's easy to get caught up in all the bad news.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it can be overwhelming for sure.
But it's important to remember that we have the power to choose how we react, how we learn, and how we move forward.
It's about focusing on solutions, not just dwelling on the problems.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
how can we mitigate the impact of climate change? How can we strengthen our democratic institutions? How can we ensure that technological advancements actually benefit humanity as a whole?
Right. Those are the big questions.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be willing to have those tough conversations, challenge our assumptions, and work together to find answers.
Yeah, and I think one thing that really struck me today was the contrast between all these huge global events that we talked about and the individual acts of kindness that we also discussed.
Yeah, it's like a reminder that even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, there's still room for compassion and hope.
Shows that we're not just passive bystanders in this unfolding story. We're active participants.
We have a role to play.
Our choices, our actions, our words, they all have an impact.
It's about recognizing that interconnectedness, understanding that even seemingly small acts can contribute to a larger ripple effect.
I like that, a ripple effect.
Imagine if everyone who felt overwhelmed by today's news chose to do one small act of kindness, one thing to make a positive difference in their community.
Yeah.
The collective impact would be incredible.
It's a powerful thought. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the whirlwind that was January 10th, 2025, we want to leave you with a sense of empowerment, not just information overload.
Yeah.
The future is not predetermined. It's a tapestry woven from the choices we make each day.
I love that.
So stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged.
The world needs you.
The world needs your unique perspective, your voice, and your actions. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep believing in the power of positive change.